What would you do if you found a snake on your farm? This is one of the most important skills for Australian farmers, where there are more venomous snakes than non-venomous ones. Many farmers have faced significant losses due to encounters with these reptiles, even if the bite seems minor, such as on the leg or arm like this woman. But did you know that the battle between farmers and snakes is a real-life testament to the famous quote by former US President Abraham Lincoln, "A friend is one who has the same enemies as you have." So, who exactly is this common enemy, and how do farmers and the Australian government tackle the challenge of millions of snakes each year? All will be answered in this video. Some areas in Australia like Queensland and South Australia have many snakes, which are not only formidable predators to wild animals, but also threaten the local livestock. With highly sensitive tongues that can detect the slightest movements and long, flexible bodies built for stealthy maneuvers, snakes are the masters of hunting small animals on farms, such as chickens. They strike their prey quickly and silently, sinking their two sharp fangs into the unsuspecting victim's flesh. And if it's a venomous snake like the eastern brown snake, the second most dangerous snake in the world, causing most snakebite deaths in Australia, this is when they inject venom into the prey. Although this venom usually doesn't kill livestock immediately, it will leave them gravely ill and take a long time to recover. In severe cases, paralysis sets in and the livestock can't continue their vital roles on the farm. Farmers can't raise or sell them anymore. Mauga snake stands out as particularly formidable, as they inject up to 150 mg of venom in a single bite, the highest recorded amount in the world, posing a great threat to any livestock within its striking range. Australia has 113 species of land snakes and 32 species of sea snakes, but not all of them wield venom as a weapon, such as the scrub python. These pythons mainly inhabit the northern tropical regions of Queensland, especially in rainforests, but they also have a taste for some pigs on the farm. Your farm might seem very peaceful, but no one would have thought that this python has quietly raided the chicken coop since the morning. And by nightfall, it begins having dinner by suffocating the chicken and then swallowing it whole. Farms near bushes and streams are some of the most snake-prone places. This cow was paralyzed in the middle of the night. The farmer knows for sure that it was snakes the culprits, as many eggs have been missing these last few days. Snakes are not only a threat to farmers, but also to surrounding residents, like this 5-meter-long snake caught doing gymnastics in a Queensland residential area. Urban snakes are not uncommon in Australia, but there have been many reports that the number of snakes in this country is increasing every year, and they even enter people's homes via the most unlikely of entry points, the toilet. Now they have become urban dwellers, preying on small animals, but sometimes threatening humans and pets. Those lucky enough to escape snakebite deaths not only suffer physically, but also mentally every day after traumatic encounters with snakes. Snake-proof fencing is one of the most effective and durable methods, utilised by farmers across Australia to safeguard their farms from snake intrusions. Generally, mesh fences stand out as the most popular type chosen, yet farmers have the flexibility to opt for various fencing options based on different factors, like the size and density of snake populations in their area. Many farmers report that these fences serve a dual purpose. Not only do they shield their livestock from snake encounters, but they also serve as barriers that slow snakes down as they have to climb over the fence to get into the farm. However, for fencing to be effective, farmers must diligently undertake tasks such as inspecting and tidying the farm premises regularly, along with the daily collection of eggs, which happen to be snakes' favorite food. In addition, the type of fence must be carefully chosen to ensure that snakes cannot squeeze through and get stuck halfway. When they are trapped, they will be more agitated and aggressive. This is very dangerous for curious pets and livestock in the surrounding area. Apart from mesh fences, building a concrete floor will also help prevent snakes from entering the farm from underground. Although snakes pose a great threat to the farm, completely eliminating them is impossible. Contrary to the terrifying predator impression most people have for snakes, most snakes are quite shy and tend to hide away. They only attack when they feel threatened. Therefore, maintaining a clutter-free environment by clearing bushes, manure and wood piles around the farm is some proactive measures to deter snakes from establishing hiding spots and launching surprise raids. Ruminants such as cows are the best candidates for this task, given their love for grazing on grass, which, through their continual munching, keeps the grass short, making it hard for snakes to hide. In areas surrounding the farm, Australian farmers also ensure the well-being of kookaburra birds, a native Australian species renowned for their exceptional snake-catching abilities. Farmers would hang bird perches, so they had enough energy to detect and capture snakes before they posed a threat to the farm's livestock. Moreover, some Australian farms undertake the training of guard dogs and cats to identify and safeguard the farm premises from potential snake invasion. This is the multifaceted approach that farmers adopted in snake management strategies. Despite snakes having a bad reputation everywhere, in Australia, farmers are not reluctant to welcome them. Why is that? Because they are excellent at controlling the population of rodents, the number one enemy of farmers. They are the common targets of both humans and snakes. Rodents like mice can damage crops by digging holes, eating crops, and spreading diseases through insects they attract. In addition, the menace posed by insects like slugs, aphids, and beetles cannot be overlooked, as they have potential diseases that can kill crops. Australia faced a significant challenge during the worst ever mouse plague in 1993, which wrought havoc to the tune of an estimated $96 million in crop damages, with livestock farms, notably piggeries and poultry farms, bearing the brunt of the devastation. The latest 2024 research estimates that snakes could serve as a natural deterrent to future mouse plagues. Together, they can hunt about 10,000 wild mice per square kilometre annually. But researchers said that the number 10,000 is likely an underestimate, since these snakes can slither into almost any mouse hideout. This substantial predation by snakes significantly increases agricultural productivity. Each mouse that a snake kills could have potentially eaten kilograms of crops during its short lifespan. So Aussie farmers can save $2,500 a year just by having these snakes around the farm. But the problem doesn't just stop at increasing agricultural productivity. By embracing a symbiotic relationship with snakes, Australian farmers can mitigate reliance on costly and hazardous chemical interventions for pest control. Chemical methods not only entail financial burdens, but also pose risks to human health, livestock welfare, wildlife preservation, and the environment. You know, although the mouse plague was over, lots of mice still come back yearly during harvest time in Australia. This abundance of food sources has posed a huge challenge to control snake overgrowth. They would prefer staying near the farm where there is always plenty of food such as mice, chickens, eggs, and even other invasive wild animals lurking around. This also makes it harder for farmers to protect their animals from snakes. That's why Australian farmers also have to learn about first aid and have snake bandages ready on the farm for emergency snake bites. Farmers also need to keep in contact with vets and snake hunters so they can come immediately to catch the venomous snakes and save the livestock's lives timely. Most snakes won't be eaten if caught. They would instead be delivered to the nearest national park or the jungle to continue living far away from the farm. Therefore, by promoting a harmonious coexistence with snakes, farmers can successfully keep their farm livestock safe away from deadly snakes while maintaining the ecological balance of their agricultural ecosystems. Hello my friends. Gorgeous foliage, miles of beaches, and sunny weather is one of the reasons people come to Florida. This is a place where you can experience great weather all year round and see rare wildlife. But now Florida is facing the devastation of non-native creatures. In today's video, we explore iguanas, an invasive species that is plaguing Florida. Iguanas are distributed mainly from Central America through the Brazilian rainforest, and they are one of the most common reptiles in the US, especially Florida. Iguanas were originally brought to Florida in the 1960s through the pet trade. They escaped from captivity and quickly adapted to Florida's subtropical climate. While no one was paying attention, they began to multiply in huge numbers. According to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, iguana populations now stretch along the Atlantic coast in Broward Martin, Palm Beach counties, and along the Gulf Coast in Collier and Lee counties. The presence of these creatures has become such an infestation that removal of iguanas is recommended to prevent devastation. According to FWC, iguanas as far north as Alachua, Highlands, and Hillsborough counties are likely captive or escaped animals. However, the northern range of iguana populations is limited by cold temperatures. They can fall into a torpor when temperatures drop below 50 degrees, sometimes falling out of trees in a cold stupor. They will eventually die if a severe cold lasts more than 3 days. They are not aggressive, but their large tails and sharp teeth pose a threat. More than 6 feet long and weighing up to 11 pounds, this massive lizard can live 8 years in the wild, or even more than 20 years in captivity. Unlike some other invasive species, iguanas are primarily vegetarian and consume some native organisms. However, do not underestimate their destructive power. Iguanas can destroy vegetation and wildlife. It can be said that the outbreak of iguana populations is a serious problem from many angles. They will destroy agriculture, destroy roads, cause electrical transformers to fail. The iguanas in South Florida are an example. They are causing serious health risks to millions of residents, also causing millions of dollars in property damage each year. Come to Puerto Rico, where this invasive species has destroyed crops, burrowed under roads, and regenerated rampantly. After a warm winter and now record summer heat, This is the type of weather in which iguanas thrive. So the people were forced to kill iguanas on their land whenever they could. It is legal to kill iguanas in Florida because these invasive reptiles affect social welfare and the ecosystem. Experts in Florida advise farmers to kill iguanas by shooting iguanas with pellet guns, stabbing them in the brain, or decapitating them without causing them pain. They ended the iguana's life immediately, suddenly, and without causing any pain. Farmers say it's okay to hit an iguana on the head with a shovel, as long as you're sure to aim correctly and kill it with the first hit. Because hitting it multiple times can get you accused. Of course, hunters cannot always shoot accurately and kill them in a single shot. It was alive and escaped. Now, instead of shooting again, he will walk along the riverbank looking for them and try to catch them with his hands. Finally, he pinned it down to its feet and finished it off with a shot to the head. The dead iguanas were bagged and brought back to the lab, where they were weighed and measured. Their bodies were then taken to a nearby landfill, which accepts animal carcasses. Iguanas typically mate in October to November in their native range and nest on riverbanks, beaches, and other sandy areas. Female iguanas will dig nearly 80 feet of interconnected tunnels with multiple entrances, and they can lay anywhere from 14 to 76 eggs at a time. That's why iguanas quickly covered Florida in huge numbers. Interestingly, iguanas are not always green. This invasive reptile can be brown or almost black in color. You may even see fully grown orange or pink iguanas roaming around the riverside area. Their unique appearance makes iguanas the most traded reptile globally, accounting for 46% of all reptiles traded in the US. Once an exotic pet, they have now become a concern for Florida residents. A powerful invasion that is difficult to repel, able to live in many different environments because of its outstanding survival skills. They are excellent swimmers, tolerant of both salt and fresh water. They can even soak for up to 4 hours at a time. Even if people don't mind the presence of large lizards, spotting an iguana around the area means a lot. That means there are many others nearby. Farmers will have to take steps to remove the iguanas before the damage gets out of control. Farmers in Florida regularly walk around their living areas and look for holes. If they spot them, they can prevent burrowing by filling the holes with rocks. You see, they cause damage to infrastructure by burrowing and eroding and collapsing sidewalks, breakwaters, and canal banks. In 2023, one case caused $1.8 million in damage in West Palm Beach. The iguanas digging weakened a dam that controls the flow of water into the city's reservoirs. In addition, they also leave feces on porches and swimming pools. This can be a source of salmonella bacteria that causes food poisoning in humans. Florida's relationship with iguanas is complex and contradictory. People quite like them but don't really want them on their property. Many people want to keep them out of their living areas, but they don't like the idea of killing them like rats or cockroaches. People in Florida advocate humanely containing iguana populations. In reality, we cannot expect iguanas to be completely eradicated from the Florida ecosystem. However, if farmers and the government work together, they can stop their development. At this point, traps are the only viable solution. With net traps, it is possible to catch iguanas in large sizes and numbers. Trapping with a noose on a fishing rod is also very effective. The rope slowly approached the iguana, but it was not detected. In a split second, the farmer pulled the fishing rod, causing the rope to tighten its neck. This method requires patience and agility, but will make it very difficult for the iguana to escape. Traps like this will be set throughout the year because farmers cannot predict when the target will appear. Iguanas are known for their keen eyesight, allowing them to detect food and predators in dense foliage. Unfortunately, facing it was a very professional hunter, he disguised himself to deal with this cunning reptile. His outfit almost matches the color of the leaves. This makes it easier for hunters to stalk and catch iguanas. 12 iguanas, this is the result of today's hunt. For hunters looking for a unique and challenging pursuit, the prospect of iguana hunting in Florida adds a special touch to their outdoor adventures. A typical example is walking around canals or rivers looking for iguanas along riverbanks or in trees. Night hunting sessions are also regularly carried out. The car suddenly stopped in front of a row of trees on the side of the road. If you are not a professional hunter, you will never know how many iguanas are hiding in the tree canopy. That's right, they are one of the masters of camouflage and hiding. Besides, sunlight and long distances are a challenge for hunters. Hunters walked along a canal in Fort Lauderdale with a .22 caliber air rifle. As the overcast morning began to warm, the hunter spotted a spiked back in the foliage. Immediately, he fired his first shot at an invasive iguana. During a half-day hunting trip, he killed about 9 iguanas, the largest of which measured 4 feet 9 inches from head to tail. One strategy that has the potential to make a difference is to add iguanas to the menu. Florida farmers found that eating these reptiles could be an effective way to reduce their numbers. In fact, in Central America, iguanas are considered a delicacy and there are farms that raise them for meat. If this interest is sustained and widespread, farmers can hope to convert invasive species into cheap and delicious protein. But the iguana will have to overcome some major cultural barriers before it is accepted into the American diet.